Tonight, I want to talk about discipleship. A topic that has been coming up a lot in conversations recently has been how discipleship should be done. A lot of people who are discipling others in today's society are giving them answers that they think that they have or that they believe is correct. But what I think as disciplers we need to be doing more of is asking questions rather than giving answers. A lot of the time people are going to their discipler with a topic or question that they might have about something that they're struggling with in their life or how they should handle or navigate something. And a lot of times the discipler will give them an answer. Sometimes it's based on scripture and sometimes it's just opinion based. But what I think disciplers need to do better is asking questions in order to allow people who are following Jesus to come to their own conclusion about a certain topic that they're being discipled on. Whether that be sexual immorality, personal convictions, different sin that they're struggling with in business, relationships, judgment, persecution, whatever they're going through, most of the time they're coming to a discipler and asking a question. And a lot of times the discipler is giving an answer, where I think that we could be asking questions to where the person comes to their own conclusion based on scripture that you can guide and direct, but that you're not giving one solid, firm answer that you believe is correct. I think disciplers need to do more directing and less answering. Yes, if somebody comes to you with a topic and has a question and you have scripture to back up your answer that you can give them your opinion on, I would recommend doing that. But outside of that, any example that you can come up with, if they're coming to ask you a question, I would recommend you pressing into that question and asking a question in response to a question. I'll give you something tangible. So let's say, for instance, somebody comes to you and says, hey, I'm really struggling with the fact that I keep falling into this sin. What would you do? And instead of you saying, oh, this is what I would do, what you can ask is, okay, here's the sin that you're struggling with. What does scripture say about it? Allow them to come to that conclusion. Okay, this is exactly what scripture says about it. Then you may ask another question and say, hey, now that we know what scripture says about it, now that we know the sin that you struggle with, how can we flee from that sin? How can we prevent that sin in the future? And let them come up with their own response to that to then almost answer the question for themselves. And if there needs to be some tweaking and some guidance in between there, you can absolutely do that with scripture and with wisdom, but allow them to strengthen their walk with the Lord by challenging them with questions to their own questions. So as a discipler, ask more questions, give less answers, and continue to lead people according to God's word.